All right, guys. So, after action report for the Rowan Practical Shooters match, March was it the 8th? March 8th. Um, we suck. That's probably the best way to lead into that one.
It's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I personally still getting getting used to my PDP. It's definitely hitting on a lot more now. I've started, really kind of shredding with it. It's kind of where I want it. It's not 100%. As far as like me shooting the gun, how it feels in my hand, it's not 100% yet, but it's like 95. So I'm definitely getting there, and I did try to shoot a little bit faster today than I normally do. So I wound up having a couple mics on targets. The thing was, is they were on targets where I really shouldn't have had mics. Um, One of them was a popper that didn't fall, and I didn't hit it in the calibration zone, so I couldn't really call for calibration. They wound up changing the popper like two shooters after me, so I might could have reshot it, but it's just a local, so really, kind of is what it is at that point. And then the other one was a tuxedo target at like 7 yards, and I was about an inch and a half outside into the hard cover on a tuxedo target, and yeah, it's my fault. 110%. That one was. Then everything else was like pretty solid. I was running fast stage runs. I had more Charlies, a couple more Deltas than I wanted, but um, the thing that really kind of killed my match was stages 6 and 7. One of them was a classifier, but they were friggin' Virginia count, and both stages, before I realized they remembered, I guess I should say, they were both Virginia count. I had an extra shot and an extra hit penalty on both of them. They were like side by side in a bay, so it was just it was bad.
Why did you shoot the extra shot on the first thing?
Yeah, so I was literally just making up a friggin' Charlie.
Who does that?
Yeah, me, man, absolute perfection. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I was making up a Charlie, just kind of shooting fast. I might have called it as a Delta at the time, because it was like a centered hit, but toward the right, and so I might have called it as a Delta, and that may be why I did it. But it was just a Charlie that I made up. And then on the other one, I don't even remember why I shot three. Probably just a bad shot call or something like that. It just, I don't know. It was just, I was shooting fast and shooting the gun fast and really kind of pushing the gun, pushing myself. Um, and just two stupid things to do in a match. And I had a pretty good classifier run if it wasn't for that. So it would have been probably a M class classifier, or if not, very close to it. But yeah, so that's pretty much the story of my match. Dumb, stupid stuff, kind of kicking my tail, and then going a little bit faster than I normally shoot. Losing quite a few points to Charlies and Deltas, but especially Charlies. Charlies kind of killed me. I didn't have a whole lot of Deltas, but I wound up 20th overall, sixth or seventh in carry objects.
Yep.
But I still shot at 85%. I had two stages that I basically tanked, not on purpose, but two stages I basically tanked. So I wound up at 85% of Billy Barton. He was there today. I don't know how his match went, but yeah, so it was a pretty good match for me. I did what I wanted to do. It was just a local, so locals aren't just training. You still want to do well, but you don't want to have stupid mistakes be the reason your match sucks, and that's kind of what mine was today. So yeah, take it away, Mr. Redbeard.
My match today was a little weird. As far as I probably had the most mics I've ever had in a match. Total of 5. I guess my vision, wasn't queued up and doing what I needed it to do. I felt like I was shooting faster. According to these two, I was. As far as seeing the target, confirming the target, I don't feel like I was doing that to the best of my abilities based on previous matches. So 5 mics cost me a lot of points. I was 29th overall. Brett, what'd you say it was? Carry optics?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. But 29th overall, still not terrible. Definitely not as good as I wanted to be. Definitely could have shot better. And done a little bit better on stage planning. This Rowan match, the stages were definitely turned up a little bit. Bigger stages, a little bit more memory stuff going on. Great match though. Loved it. It was fun.
Huge match.
Yeah, huge match. I think they said what
96 people.
How many?
96 shooters.
96 shooters got to shoot. A heck of a lot more signed up. But filled up in a minute. If that tells you anything. Like it's a good match. Definitely worth the drive. But had a good run on the classifier. Most of my mistakes were just mics. Like that's usually something I don't do. I guess the past couple of weeks I've been trying to push for speed in practice, and I guess I couldn't leave that behind. And I tried to do that today, and didn't quite work out for me. So I guess back to the drawing board, doing more vision work, and maybe practicing on some longer targets. Brett.
Come out first stage, guns a blazing. Fifth overall and carry optics on that stage. Pretty well overall on that stage. I think overall I had some pretty decent stage plans. Speed wasn't really there, but still moved pretty well. I felt like I flowed pretty well. Stage plans were decent. I think a big thing that hurt me for a couple placement was 3 mics and a no shoot. It happens. I mean, overall, I'm fairly pleased with it. I think I shot 68% overall, 65%, somewhere around there. So overall, it was a pretty good match.
So yeah, if you go shoot a match, definitely take mental notes on what you did wrong. Like learning the count. We're gonna get Sesame Street for Caleb here, and I'm just gonna go learn how to shoot all over again. But seriously, take notes. That way you can apply it to practice, and hopefully not make those same mistakes on the next few matches.
The other thing too to keep in mind is really like if locals are your measure of skill level, then 110% you should shoot a match that you feel like you can do repeatable. But I really feel to excel in the sport, and if your goal is majors and
You got to seek the heat.
Jesus Christ, that glare is atrocious. So if your goal is majors and winning, some majors or doing well at majors, I think a really good training tactic is looking at locals as training, right? So obviously you want to go out there and you want to do some stuff right. Like you don't want to make stupid mistakes like I did. But stuff where you're trying to push the envelope. You're trying to push what you're capable of as a shooter, what you're capable of, just in general. Whether it's speed or accuracy or taking targets on the move. You really want to try to push all that stuff at locals. Now, if locals are your main squeeze, that's your measure of performance. Then yeah, 110%. You should go shoot a match you can shoot 7 days of the week at locals. Shoot a consistent match, which you can do. But if your goal is to be a top level competitor, treat locals like training and really push the envelope.
We had some technical difficulties.
We had a cut there. The phone went dead. We were recording, but what we're talking about is like locals, using locals for practice, looking at locals as practice. So the point I was trying to make was, locals, you should be pushing, trying new stuff, pushing yourself, pushing your gun, pushing your equipment, seeing, what sticks, basically, like throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. And, yeah, so just try new stuff, do new stuff, go faster you think you can. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Hunter?
I have a different point of view when it comes to using locals as experimentation. Certain locals, yes. Your larger scale locals with more heat, that would be a good place to maybe treat a little more serious and try to play the long game versus, going hog wild on stuff. You're going to count, like you want to count when you go to a major, right? Right?
I can't count.
Right, Bret? You want to count. But no, definitely, like, there's certain matches I'll go to. It's strictly, like, go all out, see what happens kind of thing. And then take notes from that and go work on that on the range and dry fire, stuff like that. Fine tune my game. But flip side, there's other matches where I will treat with a little more discretion and more seriousness. What about you, Bret?
I think I kind of agree with both of you. I mean, there's certain smaller matches that you do kind of want to try and do different things, but bigger local matches, like Rowan, it's a lot of really good shooters there, and you don't want to do any really crazy stage plans or anything. Or,
if you're looking to do good, if you don't care about placement, have at it.
Sometimes it's better to just go the safe route on stage plans and not really screw yourself.
But if there's heat at certain matches and you want to kind of gauge where you're at as a shooter, try to do as best as you can and play your game to your abilities. Other than that, we had fun today. The weather was freaking awesome. Tired of shooting in 40-degree rain, being wet and cold all the time. Like, it was nice. Other than that, it was a great day.
Yeah, weather was awesome. It's definitely, much improved over the last couple of weeks, man. We've been shooting in some pretty rough weather, but it was like, 60, 65, 70 the whole match.
Yeah, it was awesome.
There was a little bit of wind, but it wasn't really a cold breeze.
It ripped targets off the stakes.
It did, yeah. The wind was a little wicked at times. It was super gusty. Literally, like, I was shooting, I was up on a classifier and blew one of the targets over.
We ripped one off and threw it back.
Yeah, we had to go chase it down.
Nearly hit somebody.
I know. Hope to get in and show us on the suit. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a good day. It was a good day.
It was a fun day.
We feel like we shot like shit. We're just working on getting better.
Yeah. But, I mean, looking at it, I think once we watch the video, I think it'll look a lot better. Yeah, because, like, when you...
Photoshop.
Exactly right.
Speed that shit up.
Yeah, speed the video up like 1.2x.
That's right.
Everything will be like 13 splits. But yeah, I mean, when you watch the video, you're like, oh wow, it wasn't as bad as I thought,
you shoot long enough at certain levels, things start to feel slow when you need to start working on other things. And you'll hit almost, I don't want to use the word plateau. What's a better term for it? Wall?
Wall's not really a good.
Yeah, that's not good either.
If we're talking about the same thing, it's like you basically hit a point where you get to like a point of diminishing returns, right? So when you make like A class, it's typically when a lot of people run into this. And Hunter hasn't made A class, but he's definitely A class caliber shooter.
Right.
It's like everything you do, and you don't get the same return on your investment of time, right? Like you can dry fire when you first start. Say you're in C class. When you first start, you can make B class pretty quick, and you can push A class pretty quick just by dry firing every day, holding the gun every day, and practicing, and pushing speed a little bit, right? Learning how to pull the trigger correctly, all that stuff. And then when you get up to like A class, master class, you can do the same amount of work and get, a lot smaller percentage on your return. Or like, you don't gain that much skill, right? Now, I mean, if you're just out there working every single day, you are going to be getting better, but it's going to be at a slower rate than when you first begin. And so that may be something to point out. That's kind of somewhere where a lot of people go seek out classes. Try to find little tidbits of information that really helps. There's tons of resources on YouTube too. I mean, not like we're hoping to have some videos out soon about some things to try. How to push your speed, how to push your accuracy, and
help you get through D and C and B class. We're not looking to make GMs here.
Yeah, we can't because we don't know how to do it yet, right? So it's I'm still figuring out a lot of stuff about shooting that like I'm still learning, actively learning. And so don't get dejected. If you guys are like AM class shooters watching these videos, just don't get dejected. Keep putting in the work. Maybe seek out a class from somebody who's amazing. Ben Stoker, David Walper teaches some good classes. Brantley Merriam just started up teaching classes.
And you can pick and choose things from certain instructors that work for you, because that's the most important thing. I see people, they latch on to one instructor and they gobble up everything they say, and like it's the gospel, and it might not work for them. And so they hit that wall, they can't get past it, whatever. Pick and choose what works for you, put it on your belt, go to the range, try it out, try a little bit of everything.
And certain instructors are better at certain things, right?
Yeah.
Like Stoker, whatever, however you say it. Yeah. He is the man. Him and Joel Park and those crew guys, they are the just bomb diggity when it comes to raw shooting fundamentals, right? Now they're really, really good at everything else too. Don't get me wrong, but they are like just the fundamentals are so locked in. Like you can watch Ben's YouTube videos, and it's just like everything's locked in. He can pick up different guns. The fundamentals are just always there, right?
But
Everything's good.
But like if I want to see some footwork stuff and work on my foot game, I might go watch a Tom Castro video.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Kim for vision stuff. Vision fuckus.
Just seek out sources of information and keep pushing. The other thing too is, again, at the locals, if you're using them as practice, do stuff you're not comfortable with, right? Don't always run the same stage plan as everybody else because everybody else is running the same stage plan. Run stage plans where you can spend more time doing the things that you're trying to learn how to do. Even if one match you're like, all right, I'm never taking a target in this match standing still. Or
a long shot.
Yeah.
Versus running up, maybe stay in the back and take it because it eliminates a position.
Yeah. Just try to. You can game stages all you want to, but when you learn how to shoot, you should make stages harder for yourself.
So when you do get to like a level 2 or a level 3 match, guess what? Things are looking a little easier because you're like, hey, I've done this before. I know I can do it. And then you're more confident when it comes time to execute.
Yeah. And your skills will be higher, right? So if you get forced to take you're never obviously forced to take a target on the move, but if there's
take the target
position,
on the move.
Yeah. If there's a position where it's like, it's going to be super advantageous for you to take the target on the move. Say it's at 10, 12, 15 yards, something that's not a far shot, but it relatively far. You're like, okay, I've done this before, right? And so it's not like your first time ever taking a target on the move is going to be at a major where you almost have to. So yeah, definitely just do the stuff that makes you uncomfortable. That's pretty good way to live by.
Get wild.
Honestly,
don't get too wild.
I mean, you don't want to be too wild to where you don't understand what's going on with your body and the gun, right? You want to be to the point pushing speed, pushing whatever you're pushing, right? You want to be to the point where you still can comprehend. Your eye can still see the dot behavior, to where you can take that dot behavior and learn from it. You don't want to just go out there and just run splits and never really see the dot and you're just basically point shooting, right?
Don't chase splits.
You don't actually learn from you don't actually learn from not seeing the dot, right? That's the biggest thing is, when you're shooting and you're shooting fast, if you're still seeing the dot and you're like learning from that dot behavior, then 110% that's a good thing to be doing, right? But when you're not learning and you're not seeing the dot and you're just going way faster than you can see, way faster than your brain can process, you're not learning from that. And as you get, shoot faster more, you kind of realize you're like, wow, I was actually shooting pretty fast, but it didn't feel that fast, right? Your brain kind of becomes inoculated to the dot behavior and the shooting fast.
What becomes normal, or what is the new thing for you, becomes normal, and then you got to reach and work even harder to get to the next level.
Yep, and that's So
like getting those small gains, once you get to a certain level, they do get harder. And once you make leaps in like shooting all alphas and stuff like that, now it's time to focus on speed and start giving up some A's for some C's and stuff like that.
What are your thoughts on that, Bert?
I think the main thing is just to go out, have fun, shoot, learn, train. Just have fun with it, man. If you're with your friends, just go out, have fun, shooting with your friends.
And stick pacers on all of their shit.
Oh yeah. Push each other too.
Yeah, that's another thing. Shooting with this group has made me a much better shooter. It would have taken me so much longer to get where I am right now if I was on my own. Because
God, we're a little wobbly.
Because we rag each other, we push each other, and it becomes competitive.
Yeah. Me and Hunter talk so much smack to each other.
But yeah, if you can find you a small group of guys, learn together, share information. Like if you got more people looking for information and bringing it back to the group, you will exponentially become a better shooter faster.
And then on the information thing side of the house, not all the information you're going to hear is going to be good. Not all the information you're going to hear is going to be applicable to you. Right?
Yeah.
You and your shooting style. Everything, you may go to the range. And almost everybody's heard this at least a time or two. Slow down and get your hits. That's not the way. You want to speed up and figure out how to get your hits while going faster. And you're going to hear all kind of advice from all levels of shooters. But
take really, everything with a grain of salt until you go try it out.
Yep. Dude, try everything for you. Almost everybody does. No one has the exact same style of shooting, right? Everybody has a little bit different strengths, right? A little bit different weaknesses, and you got to figure that out for yourself, and then apply that to a stage plan that you can do, right? It may not be the same stage plan as somebody else. Like there was a stage today where me and Hunter ran to not totally different, but pretty different stage plans, and we wound up with a real similar time. I had better hits, but we wound up with a real similar time, and the hits weren't that much of a disparity. Like it was pretty close. It was like a 5.6 hit factor versus a 5.2 hit factor or something like that. So it was pretty close, but it was two very different stage plans.
Yeah, exactly. We each played our own game to our own strengths and wound up with similar scores.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
you just got to figure out what works for you, what you're comfortable with. If you're going to be serious about a match and not experiment, if you're going to play for keeps and be serious about it, you got to play to your strengths. You can't watch, like some of the stages he runs. I can't do that. I don't have his height or his reach on things. I can't lean and shoot some targets like he can. So I might be better off staying somewhere else and shooting a target further away. Did that on several stages today.
Yep. And, today I was really heavily working on shooting targets on the move. And the stages today were pretty good. Like, you can take quite a few targets on the move. That's not necessarily what Hunter's working on right now. It's just what I'm working on right now. So our stage plan is different because I was taking a lot on the move, and he was shooting his game, and a lot of what he's doing is shooting faster and he was taking as many targets as he could, and
That's how you
less
wind up
shooting
with 5
positions.
mics.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the same time, right? Like you learn from those mics.
Yeah,
but,
no, I did. I shot,
um,
overall, I felt like I shot decent.
Yeah.
For how many mics I had.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, go out and do the things. Try everything.
Yeah.
Before you're like, oh, that doesn't work. I heard from such and such it doesn't work. Like, try the stuff,
You can try a lot of stuff just in dry fire. Or go get a 22 pistol. Try with that.
That's true. Yeah, and everything really, if you're running, and say you want to train with a 22 pistol, everything's going to be the same when it comes to movement, pulling the trigger, and your hits, right? Like, I mean, you're not going to be reinventing the wheel. Yes, it's not your actual match gun, but it'll be way cheaper.
You don't have recoil. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you don't
That's
have
it.
recoil.
Vision still has to work. You could probably actually shoot faster with a rimfire. So that's something to consider too.
Yeah, grip and vision, you still have to have it. I mean, if you have a bad grip, you're going to have crappy hits with a 22. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any closing thoughts, Bret?
I think we're good. Like I said, just go out and have fun, enjoy it.
Just get out there.
Yeah, just get out there and shoot.
Fresh air.
So, just closing thoughts. We run a match. The three of us, a couple other guys, run a match outside of Bluefield, Virginia. If any of you guys have never shot a match, just hit us up. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know what's up, and we can get you set up. A lot of us have extra guns, extra gear you can borrow.
Yep. You show up and pay the match fee.
Yep.
If you don't have a gun, if you're thinking about getting into it, just show up. Pay the match fee. Maybe money for ammo. We'll hook you up.
Yeah, definitely let us know first. That way we can make sure to bring the right gear and everything. But yeah, just hit us up. Come out and try a match. And if you're not in our area watching the videos, try a match wherever you guys are at. Just go out and try it one time.
Go watch first. If you don't have any of the gear, definitely go watch.
And when you go watch, ask questions, and I guarantee you somebody will talk to you.
You'll get buried in a pile of gear to try out.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
Yep. And if you don't know how to start the conversation, go up and ask somebody what they're shooting, and they'll be your best friend for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to talk about their gun, so I don't talk that much about my gun. I really don't.
He does have a nice Canic. See you guys next time.